as well.
Okay.
Are we making that motion tonight?
I think it had, I don't know if we want it as part of.
Separate.
In the new business.
Yeah.
Do you want to have Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Should have been at the League of Minnesota Cities conference because they were asking who had been serving the longest who'd been on the council.
Since about 92.
I think one guy would have beat you. There was a mayor there who'd been mayor for 42 years.
42 years.
42.
What's his name? Kelly Pierce?
No, not as
Not cumulative, but yeah.
Almost 20 years.
Oh. Well, at 30, we'll let you quit.
Yeah, I know.
I think 42 sounds good.
I know.
There you
Hang
go.
in there.
Okay, we do have 7 o'clock. We'll stand in
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First time he was mayor, he had more up here and less.
You're right. Not a lot, though. Okay, call the meeting to order. Or call the meeting to order. We have public forum. Anybody out here that would like to say anything? You have 2 minutes. If not, we'll move ahead. Approval of the agenda. Rob, do you have any additions to the agenda?
Yes, sir, I have D under new business. Looking at changing our personnel policy to state that for department heads, hiring them would start off in the committee, but the actual final interviews of the 2, 3, whatever the committee recommends would be before the entire council.
Okay. Anything else?
I have also E. I'd like for us to put together, the mayor to put together a series of work sessions. There you go, Pete.
All right.
Series of work sessions to come up with new ideas for ongoing employee benefits and just trying to get a handle
Some
on
city direction.
benefits. Yeah. So we could, put together some things that we could offer before June.
Okay. Pete, do you have any additions? Julie?
No, I do not.
Megan?
We're adding F.
Yeah, what was
EF, yes, F
To
would be.
relook at,
revise?
revise Michael's
Okay.
benefits package from what was decided in his initial offering to
Basically what the
what
contract
the
says.
current, current contract says, so.
Michael, do you have any additions?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion made by Rob, seconded by Julie. Is there any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at that?
Yes, I have a correction to the minutes regarding the library that when Christian Lilienthal addressed us last month.
Yeah?
It should just say, and I'll send the text to Michael, it should say the library board is made up of members appointed by each city, that the board is discussing creating a new library director position which would oversee the library functions and report directly to that board, or they're considering moving more library administration to the individual cities. And that the board has been struggling with administrative tasks and managing 5 individual library directors.
So that's what
Send
you
that to
wanted.
me.
Okay.
I will.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made by Julie,
Second.
seconded by Megan. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearing, nothing. New business, approval of contract for residential solid waste collection.
City Council, our contract with Gaylord Sanitation ends actually in March. This is the last time we extended it was a 5-year contract. The city attorney, who couldn't make it tonight, recommends that we just do a year extension at a time going forward. So that's what is in your packet today. And he's actually here if you have any questions.
Aaron, have you heard anything? Have there been any issues with the service that you've heard maybe from some citizens?
I honestly haven't heard any negative thing about the garbage waste system.
I think you guys do a great job, personally. I have had no issues.
Very responsive. I forgot to put my Christmas tree out, and I called and said, please, is there any chance? And somebody came back around within 5 minutes. It was really good customer service and kind of probably saved me from divorce court.
And I haven't heard anything either. I mean, you rarely have people come out and say, whoa, we absolutely love our garbage service. You know, that's how it goes. But that's why I asked the question. We've asked that in the past as well, and I don't think I completely didn't expect anything either. So
When we don't get complaints,
yeah.
you're doing your job. I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Motion made to go ahead and accept the contract.
Further discussion?
There's a motion made. I'm looking.
Second.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Pete. Now, is there any further
Why
discussion?
Is it 5 too long? 1 seems too short for me.
Did he give you a reason as to why, or is that?
I'm not going to speak on his behalf,
Okay.
but it had to do with if rates increased dramatically, there wouldn't be a reason for us to cancel the contract right away. So we would have to pay them. And so that was the reason that he explained the year contract.
In the past, I think, and I can you can come up and speak maybe if you'd like.
Well, I think rates that's like disposal rates, you pay the disposal. You only pay me per house for pickup. So,
And I think maybe 8, 9, or 10, we had like a fuel surcharge or something because gas prices went crazy at that time as well or something.
and there currently is a
Yeah.
fuel surcharge right
And
now.
then they backed that off, Michael, after when it went.
Well, yeah, when it goes down, then it comes off. Yeah.
How does 1-year contract matter to you? Or, I mean, obviously, as a business owner, you want to plan out, you want to be able to CapEx stuff out. So I know you want longer terms, but it does seem short to me as well.
Yeah, I mentioned him like a 3 or a 5 year, I thought, but 3 would be okay too. Yeah, 1 year. I mean, 1 year usually what? It usually rolls over automatic 1 year. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see longer. But hey, we'd all like a raise too. I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to amend my motion by saying that we do approve our contract, but we do amend that to where it does say it's a 3-year contract. I think that's fine. I mean, we've never had the issue with this company, and as you said, we're paying the disposal charge.
Yeah.
If it goes up, we're going to pay that same rate no matter who we're with.
Yeah.
And I can understand our attorney. He's always going to err to the side of prudence for us, but I don't think if past is any indication, I don't think we're going to have any issues. So I would say 3-year, and my motion is to approve it.
Okay.
What does the contract state? We get out of the contract in worst case scenario. I mean, not that we'd ever think that we'd have to get out of it, but there's always a worst case scenario,
Yeah.
Do we pay out the contract, or how does that work?
No, it's not paid out. It's
No.
Do we just have to give notice? How much is
Yes.
how much, what is the time period?
I think it was a 90-day.
I think it's a 90-day
90-day
extension.
notice?
Yep. It's 90 days.
Well, then really, if we have 90, we pay for 90 days and then we're out. That's not that.
I think the service has been excellent in town, especially on these windy days. And
Okay, so the motion to accept the contract with the amendment, instead of 1 year, we go to 3 years. We were 5 prior to that. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Police chief selection. Pete, we had two people come in here that we had interviewed for the second time. And I'm just going to go around. Rob, do you want to give your thoughts on it? And
Yeah, being on the police committee, Julie and I met, and the mayor and Officer Hacker and the administrator. We had 15, 16 candidates. I'd say the majority of those were out of state, all the way to North Carolina and Florida and maybe somewhere northeast or something. So we just thought, looking at the experience and looking at everything, we just kind of ruled them out. We did pick 4 that were in the state that did come and interview. And of those in the police committee, we whittled that down to 2. That was hard to get even to the 2 because the 4 were well qualified as well. And then on the final 2, we met tonight. We had a few questions. We were limited time. But I think we, as a consensus, the police committee did, and then the council, when we did the interviews, also came up with the idea that we offer the position to Logan Anderson, who is currently a deputy with McLeod County.
And do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I would like to say that, I would like to make it clear, and I wish I could personally extend that to all 4 candidates that we interviewed. I was so worried when we started this process. I thought, are we going to have any good candidates? And we had, all the interviews were great. There would not have been one person there who could not have done the job and done it well. The deliberations about who we wanted to extend the offer to were more what's going to be the best fit for Winthrop, but they were all very well qualified and personable, and I would say of very high integrity. I was impressed.
So Rob and Julie are on the police committee. Megan, you said on the last 2 interviews.
Just based on the last 2 interviews, it wasn't an easy decision. I mean, both of them had really good experience and could bring things to the table that Winthrop needs desperately. But I think maybe our focus was maybe bringing back community rapport with the police department, and I think Logan maybe had met some of our needs better that way. So.
All right. Is there any other discussion?
Nope, I would move that we extend the offer to Logan Anderson.
There's a motion made by Julie. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Megan. Is there any further discussion? Do we want to discuss how much and all of that, or is that something that we would do
I don't think we need to at this meeting.
at this point? All right. Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Approval of, and that was to hire Logan, yes. Approval of a new computer system for the police department. Maybe you would like to sit in the hot seat there and
Yeah,
I mean,
she would love to.
I don't know the techie terms for a lot of the stuff. I know that we are pretty inadequate in a lot of our data saving stuff. Right now, it currently says that we really have no memory for anything. We have no protections in place. If the computer were to wipe out, we have no, like a lot of other departments will do, they have like their own set of server, and it does like an automatic backup so that files can be retrieved in case of something, a fire or whatever that happens. I know that we have multiple officers using the same computer under the same like passcode thing, which with like the BCA standards and stuff, that's really not compliant for security stuff. Let's see. Stuff that should go rather smoothly takes a significantly long time. And if you're already into a 12-hour shift and then you have to go and try to burn your CDs and different stuff like that, and you're there for 20 hours, it gets to be quite exhausting. So we just have a lot of stuff that's outdated then that needs to be updated to meet requirements. So.
And the bid we have here, Somebody want to
Yeah,
talk
so
about
the bid is, this is a new bid. It's pretty up to date. Computers, servers, that kind of stuff is getting more expensive and harder to find. So this bid is actually $2,000 more than the police committee saw originally, because that's how much things went up. The computer on this desk, by the way, was $500 more than originally quoted. So the total now is $18,135. Based on the police committee's recommendations, we took it from two different accounts, not to drain one account individually. So $9,000 from fines and tickets. That was originally a recommendation of $8,000. And then $9,000 from the computer upgrade fund. The original estimate was $8,000. So we upped both of those to cover the costs. The total remaining balance of the fines and tickets will be $7,100 around. The computer upgrade fund will still have about $4,000 left in it for both of those.
Speak to this company. Why this company?
Yeah, so this company, and Aaron can probably speak a little bit better than I can, but they actually have experience in other police departments, putting in the servers, dealing with posts, dealing with a system from the state of Minnesota, and that's why they were highly recommended to us. This is not a normal tech job. There's servers and cloud-based information and software that we're just not familiar. This is a much needed improvement to the police department, but also we want to make sure that it is in compliance with our state standards.
So when they talk about watch guard, or they talk about having a terminal in the evidence room, or having terminal here or there or the other, they come to that conclusion not on selling us equipment, but on the fact that they've done prior police departments and they're up on the requirements that are going to be needed for departments. And unfortunately, I mean, it's one of those expenses. Luckily, we have the monies set aside in CapEx to do it. And did they identify our computer system in your quickie visit that the state came in December, or is this a preemptive?
This was prior. So I had met with Charlie Egden, who is the chief of police in Gaylord. He had Mo come in and redo all of their computer stuff because they were lacking. Yep.
Okay.
So they had him doing a whole bunch of stuff to help get their PD where it needed to be. And then once their new, I think, city administrator came in, she had pushed him off to the side and got a more generic tech guy who's not as qualified to handle the law enforcement stuff. So ultimately, when that person left, they rehired Mo back to come back in and fix everything that got messed up. And so I was talking to them about this, and he recommended me to get a quote from him. So a while back, that's why the quote now is kind of outdated, and he had to redo the new one.
Well, wasn't it the comment too that I heard from one of you that the gentleman we use out in New Ulm for the rest of our computers,
Tech Unlimited Chad.
Recommended that's not
Yes.
what I need, what I'm capable.
Yeah.
The hardware part of installing the equipment and the knowledge of computers isn't above him.
Right.
But in what a police department would need to move forward, and we're looking at a solution here that we can put in now and grow with, not something that will last a year and we need to update it again.
Correct. This
Chad
guy
just
has
doesn't-
military experience, police experience with the IT department. He has all the credentials to be working in the police department with all the confidential stuff. So
I'm surprised. There's no encryption or anything on any of our computers.
what we have, there's a I mean, there is to an extent, but not as probably in depth as what they would prefer.
And the biggest thing that I didn't realize too was that, if you sit down on the computer, you can log on to the same programs, the same login that the last person just did. So you have access to everything the last person just did. And, chain of custody for evidence, that's just out the window. If that can be, it could be an issue. A lot of different things could be an issue there, privacy of someone as well. So, Aaron identified these things and brought this person in, and I'm grateful that you did. And you're right, that this was preemptive to the visit we had from the state that's auditing our police department. But this would go a long ways in getting us in compliance today and for the future, and help us get a better handle on our evidence room and a few different things that are in there. And it'd be nice to have something like this up and running if we've got a new police chief too, so they can get right in and
Is it user friendly? Where do we have to hire somebody to train? So I mean,
No, he'll explain. And I mean, most of the stuff, we'll have access to contact him too for like questions and different stuff, but Gaylord hasn't had any problem transitioning over. So, I mean, we're familiar with most of the stuff that we're running. This is just going to be like, you have to now log in this way. He'll set everything up so what needs to be shared between the officers can be shared, what needs to be like separate for just the chief size, that type of deal. So
there's 15 days of remote access for improvements and modifications. I didn't know if that just meant something. I'll also included any like training time as well in that quote. So I'm not sure. And I'm sure going forward, there'd probably be an hourly charge for training or issues like most companies, I guess, with computer stuff nowadays.
is there ongoing service charge for the cloud storage or whatever? Because usually there's some kind of monthly or yearly.
He has a 3-year subscription that we are paying for in the bottom price of all of it.
Okay, so that will be something that we'll have to look at the budget wise.
We'll have to make sure
make
that's
sure
in
that
there.
we're budgeting to continue to pay
Yep.
for the
Yep.
service, the backup.
And that'll be one of the things that Aaron, as the assistant chief, will work with the new chief on helping them to. That's one of the things we discussed in police committee as well, is with other questions that we had for the interviews that we narrowed down, was talking to them about budgeting and about helping to identify needs of the police department to match the community and the department needs. So yeah, they're well aware that coming in, they're going to have to help us identify things that they need today and ongoing things like that.
Okay, any other questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I want to know where the other $135 is going to come from. You got 18,000.
We're going to take it from the fines and tickets fund.
Thank you, Aaron.
Any excess will come from that fund, since we don't normally touch it.
I'm pretty sure that that's going to be it now. I said October 15th.
Yeah, we're
2021.
Yeah, we're pretty sure that it'll be really close to that estimate.
I'll move that we approve up to 18,500, just in case.
second.
Some motion made to accept this by Rob, and it was seconded by Julie for 18,500. Yes, there's overage. Go ahead.
Did he give any idea as to when he could actually get it started? And I know things.
He
I
did,
think he was
but
kind
he
of
has.
waiting on us for
Yeah,
a while. He's checked in a couple of times, and I was like, yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on. So
He's checked in like twice since I've gotten here,
Okay.
so I think he's ready to roll.
Okay.
I think he has the equipment.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Any other questions? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, old business, approval of new city library board bylaws.
Can we go to item D that we added under new agenda? The personnel policy?
Priority department heads?
Yeah,
Okay.
instead of old business.
yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I
Sorry.
put that under
I was
old
trying to correct
business.
anyone.
He put it under old business as well.
I did. It's the only place I had room.
Basically, I added.
Personnel policy for hiring department heads.
Yeah, basically, I wanted to talk about this because I think overall we've talked about this several times, but we've never actually made it part of our personnel policy. I think as is it currently with hiring, we've just hired, and we did with the city administrator, which we haven't hired in a long time. As a full council, we all got together and did the interviews, and I think that's important for the entire council
Right.
when we do a department head. And that's why we did it tonight. In an earlier session, we interviewed for the police chief. So I'd like to see us change our personnel policy to reflect that the full council will interview the narrowed or winnowed down list.
So you're saying the committee will go through the applications and
Yes.
do the initial interviews.
Yes.
And then bring to the full council 2 to 3 candidates,
Yep, for department heads.
or for the department heads, for each department head. And I want to make sure that the rest of it, anybody hired within that department will still be the committee, the administrator, mayor, whatever.
Of course, the council still makes the decision to hire
Correct.
them, but
Correct.
all the interview and everything else.
They would just come back with a
is
recommendation.
Committee recommendation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you say?
There is a motion made to go ahead and change the way we hire department heads. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Megan. Is there any further discussion?
So I want to
Let's
be really
clarify
clear.
that, yeah.
I just want to be really clear. What we're saying is what we did for this process of police chief. We want to echo that in our policy,
Correct.
where
Department heads.
for department heads, a committee will be put together depending on what
Well,
department
whatever
it is,
committee it is.
Whatever
if it's
committee
police,
is.
if it's-
helps narrow down the candidates, gets the 2 or 3 most qualified, and then they do a second interview process in front of council,
Yes,
and council approves them.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, any further discussion?
I would just like to see that that we don't make it too, you have to check all these boxes for the committee. I think the committee should probably do first round interviews, but, if you only get 4 or 5 applications and you're gonna interview 3 of them, the committee may be able to decide that ahead of time, not do that first round of interviews and bring it directly to the council. Or maybe they'll do 3 rounds of interviews before they get to the council. I just
Right.
don't wanna say must do preliminary interviews.
Or do a failed search. Then maybe they'll say
Right.
the candidates aren't right for the city's
So I
needs.
would like to let the committee have a fair amount of leeway.
Yeah, there should be some flexibility in however the committee feels, like whatever needs to come to the council or doesn't, they can do that, and then we just take the ball from wherever they've come from, so.
Do you have that, Michael?
Yep.
He's a good mind reader.
All right. Is there any, I'm afraid to ask, is there any more discussion? If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
See, we're all very agreeable, we just like to talk.
Yes. Okay, work sessions. Work sessions. That's something we could call, we need work sessions. We've talked about this. We were gonna do it once Michael became comfortable, and I think he's comfortable now. I wanted one work session where we're just talking about the direction of the city, where we're going. Just get a little more focus for the council and for the city. And then now we're talking about a work session. So we're talking work sessions. One about employee benefits and whatnot. So we'd like to set up some.
When do we negotiate?
It would be August where they make the decision, right? But we have to.
We'd have
notify
to be
them.
before August.
We have to
Yeah.
notify
Yes.
them by
So
in June.
this, I think we should be
Okay.
looking at a work session in March for sure. If not,
Well, I think it's gonna take a few, but yeah, we need to
Yeah.
start in March, and it's just about coming up with ideas on looking at our ongoing benefit structure that we have for our employees.
what I like to do is have the work session. How long do you think the work sessions need to be before they're unproductive? I would like to call the work sessions before the council meeting. And that, if there's too many items, we need to move it to the next work
Well,
session.
the work session needs to be focused on, we just need to talk about benefits, or we need to talk about tax, or we need to talk about each
Direction.
one idea per work session, or everything gets modeled.
So if we did that an hour before the council meeting over the next month or two, we're having we had 2 council meetings.
This month will be, the 28th will be a second meeting, and
Maybe an hour will not be enough. Maybe we do have to have a separate night for that.
Thinking an hour and a half is probably most productive. If anything more than that, it's going to be a lot of information to maybe talk.
Is it
to-
easier for us to plan on the night of our council meetings to do these prior to the council meeting? Is that easier for everyone?
It might be easier to, especially if we're talking about something big like that. I would almost rather do it where we could run over a little bit.
Okay.
If we plan
and have
an
a
hour and a
solid
half
focus
and we're
to-
really getting somewhere, but it's, ticking away and it's almost 7:00, then you lose that momentum.
Yep.
I mean, I'm kind of loath to do extra meetings more than we have to, but I think that might be more productive.
And two, if you come, you're focused on that, but you're also focused on what's going to happen at the next meeting.
Right.
Where we
You
can
can
set it
really
aside
just-
for one night, that is the sole purpose. And I think then that may actually allow us to have maybe in the end less meetings because we're
Yes, we
focusing.
might get more done.
So we may have to have 2 or 3, but they are independent.
And then you can have a little time to let it sit and percolate before the next meeting. I mean, it's one thing if you have this committee meeting, then all of a sudden, boom, you're supposed to move forward with whatever you've come to. Sometimes it is good to have a little time to think
Okay.
it through and get some feedback.
So our next meeting is February 28th, the last Monday, and the other meetings will be March 28th. That is the last Monday of March. I think we should set something up maybe towards the beginning or middle of March.
Do you want to just keep it at the first Monday as a work session, second or fourth Monday as a council session
That works for me.
for the next couple
Kind of wean
months?
us off our first Mondays.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So we would do the benefits one. So on the 28th, I really do want to talk about the capital improvement plan and some of the stuff that we've uncovered and the planning behind that. We have quite a few of those discussions that we need to have anyway. So that was going to be the 28th. I have that presentation almost
February?
ready. February.
At the regular council meeting?
Yeah. So on the 7th, if we did employee benefits, March 7th.
Well, too, and keeping with that, and I know we just said we want to keep it one theme, but we also want to have the work session with the council and Michael as to direction of the city.
Yes.
And I don't want to put either one off, but I don't want to put them both in the same meeting either.
Right, and we can have another meeting if we go into
So what was that date in March, our first Monday? Was
7th.
The 7th.
Would it be too much to have one the week later, or?
It could be on the 7th, could we talk about generally
Do
where the
both?
city's going and what we're doing? Because
Do that one first. I think to give Michael direction first, and then we maybe the
Michael
second
and
meeting.
for all of us to
And
kind
all-
of
yeah,
focus,
all of us.
you know, where are.
I want to hear his ideas too. So
Okay, so the first work session on March 7th will be focused on city direction.
At 7:00?
Should we do 7? I'm fine with 7. I mean, it's,
and then you want to maybe the 14th then for benefits.
I don't know.
Or-
GFW school board meetings are.
Oh,
It would be
The
April
first-
4th.
I mean, if we're doing the next month, are we doing the next
No,
month?
we
or are
would be
I was
doing
saying
the
about
next week.
Monday.
March
Before-
14th.
March 14th. So 7th would be
So we'd be doing two,
I have a feeling that might be a school board meeting.
What about the
Okay.
21st?
I
14th,
think it is.
we could do
What about March
21st then.
21st.
Be-
Okay.
And that one,
28th would be our regular meeting.
yes.
Because I'm thinking that the 7th, we probably have a good roundtable discussion and vision for the city.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But that might be what we need is one meeting for that.
Yeah.
But the other one's definitely going to take more meetings. The benefits part.
Yeah. And then maybe at those work sessions, we can plan additional work sessions if we want to bring in a speaker or get more information. We at least have that option then.
The Bahamas.
Yeah. Okay. We can definitely do that.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
And can you, after the meeting, make sure everybody is notified about those dates so
Yeah,
we can
I
set them
will. I'll
aside?
send that out.
Okay, and then we have F.
Would that go with the E benefits?
Well, yeah, there was some confusion with Michael's contract,
Oh, I got it.
and we'd like to keep.
Trust me, you don't want a recap of that entire discussion.
No, I remember now.
I'll gladly take that one. We've gone back and forth, and when we hired Michael, we talked about changing what portion of the health insurance benefits the city pays for. And in the discussions lately about benefits packages, want to take a look at it, but we want all the employees to be on a level playing field. So I think the feeling was that we wanted to discuss if the administrator's position should include the same current benefit package that the other employees have.
I think it was decided until we reviewed it.
Yes, we're gonna look at the whole benefit package as a whole.
As the personnel policy is currently written.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was in part because of contracts and language in what was presented to Michael. That they have said two different things.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion
Motion
to revise his contract to
revise the
make it the
contract
same as the
to
other.
make the same as the current employee
Yeah.
contract or benefits package.
Correct. Is that a motion?
So, that's a motion.
Motion made by Megan. Is there a second? Pete seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I have one more to add.
Sure.
Brain works slow. I had Reby Tree Service say that when we let bids or whatever we do with trees, he would like to get the information so that he'd be put on the current bid list for
How often
trees.
do we do that?
You actually do bids?
We did it last year.
We did or we didn't?
We did. Was he on it? Do you know?
No, I don't think he didn't apply, I don't think.
Yeah, I thought.
I think isn't that not that it's a bad thing to bring up, but not necessarily something that has to come to this level. That
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
we can take care
It's
of that.
advertised, right? Is that what we do? We advertise it?
Yeah, we go out for bids.
I mean, is it in the paper that we're going up? So,
I
yeah.
wasn't aware how we did it. I told him
Yeah.
it goes out for bids, but I didn't know if.
So if a tree falls in the street because we have a storm, we put in the paper out for bids.
No, we have
No.
a tree service.
We have
Hire
a
a
tree
tree
service.
service for that.
And we have a contract for that tree
Yeah.
service. And
Yes.
it's a yearly contract.
No, the last one that they signed was
Last one was forever.
yeah, they did.
Last year we had, Jason Sullivan do it.
I don't look at the contract. I don't
Yeah,
know
and the
what-
contract doesn't have an end date.
Yeah.
The last contract that we signed. But that was for emergency. Like if we did other things like Dutch elm disease, we had to have we would go out and contract for that. This was the contract that was signed a couple years ago was just for emergency services, at least the one that I saw.
Okay.
So
All right.
That's the one you're saying. Rabbit wants to be.
Well, anyway, he would like and I know the history and I know the past and I know some of the feelings, but I'm just saying.
I think everybody should have an
Made a
opportunity.
request, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I believe that's all we had for new business. Going to old business, approval of new city library board bylaws.
I think I presented this back in the fall. I think Aaron gave him the final approval.
Okay. And we were just going to get that a motion.
Yeah, my understanding is we, as a council, need to approve it and then
And then at the next council meeting, then you can
start appointing.
start appointing. Yep.
So, you may want to give some thought to, there will be 5 members. One will be a representative from this board. One will be the appointed representative for Winthrop on the Sibley County Library Board, who's currently Terry Schutte. And then we'll have 3 others to appoint. So if you know somebody who has a particular passion for library service, good library service, that would be great. So, my baby, I will make a motion that we approve.
Okay. Motion made by
Finally.
Julie to
Second.
approve this. Seconded by Rob. Is there any further discussion?
So the mayor will appoint, because it says in section 1, Article 3, section 1, and the city council will approve, so, in 3-year terms. How are you,
The president, the vice president, and the secretary are voted for at their committee meeting, at their annual meeting in January. And how we are going to appoint these is exactly how we appoint all the other boards and commissions, is in January, he will appoint those 5 people. However, they cannot do more than 15 years combined.
I think, isn't it
Well,
three-year
That's, I was gonna actually ask Aaron about that, because it says 15 in here, and then it says three
Yeah.
three-year terms.
Yeah, section
Oh,
2
I
under
think-
Article 2 says board members may
Yeah.
serve no more than 3 consecutive terms.
Right.
Yeah.
But they could come back and do additional terms, they just couldn't be consecutive.
Consecutive, yeah.
But they're saying a lifetime of 15
Well, they have a
years.
lifetime limit.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh. Wow.
Well, I wouldn't have minded that.
It may be self-imposed. They won't have to worry about the council doing it.
Okay, is that clear with everyone then?
Yeah, we appoint the members and they
Right.
elect among themselves who's in charge. So
And then the rest of the duties and meetings and stuff are pretty common for boards, I guess.
And is there a per diem or anything? Like,
Not on this one.
okay.
They didn't,
I thought we were gonna add that. That was,
Mm.
did we not get that in? I mean,
I didn't see anything in
I
there.
remember it came up. You actually brought it up, Rob.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I didn't see anything in here.
I thought I added that, but perhaps I did not. So,
Are you,
I didn't see it, but I can go through it again.
is there something for, what? I don't recall.
under state statute, library board members can receive a per diem or mileage for attending meeting. They cannot receive both.
Okay.
Oh, it actually says
Shall receive
board members
per
shall
diem
receive a
for
per
meetings
diem.
attended.
Oh, okay.
Per
There we
diem
go.
rate follows Sibley County
Oh,
library
okay.
Okay.
policy.
All right, we did put that
It's,
in.
okay,
Section
good.
6.
Okay.
All right. Is there, where in here is there a provision that say these don't quite, I know you guys put a lot of time in it, but when you get to practical application, you look at things like, oh, that's not right, we need to fix that. How does that work? Do they have to come back to the full council for amendments to their?
Yeah, they would have to.
Okay,
In fact, it's under the amendments. They have to be made by city or approved by city council.
oh, there, I didn't go to the last page, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
How often do they meet?
Every
It's
other month,
actually
I think, was the.
weird. They are going to have board meetings in January, March, May, July, September, and November.
Okay.
every other month.
All right, is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, recommendation, city charter to change city council meetings to the 4th. Is this the final?
Yep, this is the final, and then it will go to the charter committee, and then after the charter committee changes it, opens the charter, and then closes it, you guys will actually sign it at that time. And the charter committee meets tomorrow, conveniently.
Oh, good.
So we should have it by the 28th so that everything would be legal.
Okay, do we need a motion or anything like that for this, for the second?
I think it's just an order to receive
Okay.
at this time.
Okay, now we have the second reading to reinstate City Code 701.07, the winter parking regulations. So that you can ticket people.
Pay for the computer.
Throw them away, yeah.
Person was happy.
Well, if we paid for a month.
Troy, anything in there that was a flag to you or anything?
No, we read through it
Anything you need to add?
prior to, no, it's good.
So I'm just curious, how is it gonna be communicated to people when there's a snow emergency?
So we do communicate it via Facebook, and we have been trying to get it out as much as we can on KNUJ as well.
And is it posted like on,
We haven't been, but we've been posting it on Facebook, but we can post it somewhere else, I guess.
I don't know.
Well, all the posts on Facebook also automatically get updated to the website as well,
Yeah.
those that don't have Facebook.
Well, that's a good point, yeah. And, once they know the policy, it is just expected that 24 hours, they
After
need to
this.
clear their vehicle out. And this also addresses sidewalks being taken care
There
of
was a
too.
lot of neglect on the sidewalks out right on Main Street here this last time.
Yes.
Is this something that we should maybe put in the paper?
Yes, I think we definitely should.
Yeah.
So is it just so when people ask me, is it 24 hours after the snow stops
Yes.
falling?
After it's,
Done.
Yeah, that's,
Done.
yes, after it's just 1 inch.
they're often plowing.
I thought it was
I thought it was 12 when I read something.
I thought it was 24 too.
But I mean, we have the right to start plowing at 1 inch, correct?
Says residential streets outside the business district will have 12 hours from the time plows go out to move
Two different things.
the cars
Oh,
off the
on
street.
this side.
Cars not allowed, are cars that are not moved after 12 hours will be ticketed and may be towed.
So if the plows go out at midnight and
They have
they're
until noon.
gone.
They have until
they have
noon the
until
next day.
noon. Okay.
So it's not when the snow stops, it's after the plows go out.
Correct.
I think we should add an even and odd. No.
Oh, boy.
Double the amount in gas.
How many people actually have the house numbers up that we said that they have?
I've seen a lot of numbers up
I've
now.
noticed a lot.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was surprised.
Even some of them are cardboard, but they're up.
Right?
But they're up.
They still need it.
Okay, do we need a motion on this? The second reading?
Yeah, on the second reading, we need a motion.
Move approval.
Okay, Rob's made a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Pete. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Maybe we can get like the Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts or something like that go through town this summer and hire out painting numbers on people's houses. Yeah, we used to do
I
that to-
swear that used to be a
they used to do that to
thing.
the curbs.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
They used to come through and paint the curbs.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go to reports of officers, city administrator, EDA director.
Yeah, so we've been busy with a lot of different things. Tomorrow morning, the admin committee will go through. We're looking at revamping our HR policy, just getting it back up to snuff. There's a lot of things that are not addressed, and we want a little bit more clarity. You saw one of those instances here tonight at City Council. There's a bunch of them that are a little bit unclear, so we're working on that. As part of the EDA, we're working really hard at selling some properties. We have a few interested parties now that we have it online and had a billboard. We've had a few inquiries about some development of the residential areas in town. The other thing that I would also like to say is that the admin committee tomorrow morning will be looking at our new evaluations for employees. We're hoping to have evaluations done by March so that all the staff can get a performance evaluation. So those are just some of the things we've been working on.
Good. City legal is not here. Public works, Troy, is there anything?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Electrical, nothing for that. Okay, how do we do with the streetlights, new streetlights?
You'll hear about that on the 28th.
Okay.
We have all the bids and the information, updated information.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, electric department, Pete, did you have anything?
Yeah, we had a meeting. I would just like to say, we're doing planning out. I'll be dead before, but in all seriousness, we're gonna have some big construction coming up real soon, to try to lower our costs further. And I just want you to know that your mega bucks I had this month again, under Excel. I mean, you just can't believe how we can do it so cheap. And what this is involving is some new plants and some, not necessarily solar either, just our problem with solar is we can't find land.
Yeah, it takes a while.
Our philosophy is they want at least 100 acres and to build a solar. And they would like one around here. The only place I can, I was talking to John Woods. John Woods would like to sell his farm, I think, or consider it. And his price isn't out of line either. I just don't know if, the big thing is if we have the capability of getting the electricity out of there, what it would cost to build the power line to get it out of there, you know.
Where would that power go?
It goes into the grid.
Okay.
It goes into the grid. But Yeah, I mean, in the cities, we're paying in excess of $20,000 an acre for land, so to give you an idea, so.
All right, thank you.
Oh, they're
Oh.
gonna have that thing, it's gonna be this summer, I think it's July or August. We haven't had a annual meeting for
Oh, yeah.
forever and ever and ever. And, we're gonna have that this year, so.
And the
Don't
council,
always invite the council.
The council's always invited,
Chaska,
yeah.
a few years.
This year it is going to be in Anoka at the Wild Wings Golf Course. We've had it there before. Really, really nice place.
the last time we all went to the basement because of a
Oh,
tornado.
a tornado. And,
That's what I went to. All right, thank you, Pete. Is there anything from fire department? Other than that, we have a fire and ambulance meeting on the 17th of this month. Okay, ambulance captain's report, police, we covered everything? You did a good job the other day. All right. Planning commission report, none. RS Fiber,
We met January 17th. Jake Ricky is the current chair of the RS5 board. He came and addressed the group. Their subscribership is still going up. Their projections are, he still states that they will be paying the cities back, but their timeline is not getting any closer. But
they haven't shortened the timeline.
right.
It's still what we
That's,
are
at the last meeting, they were hoping to be talking
Before the
about paying
city's
it
got
back
paid, yeah.
in a shorter period of time than the 7 to 9 years they'd originally talked about. So his point was that they're looking at more of that 7 to 9 timeframe, that it won't be shortened. But,
But we're
They-
growing in, we're eating into that. It's not
yes, we are,
continuing.
we are
Eating
into that already,
Got it,
yes.
okay.
But the interesting thing was that they are looking at plans to work with townships and cities, if any cities want to use those ARPA funds, the federal funds that are going to be available, because broadband is definitely one of the uses for that. And a lot of the townships were very interested. So a lot of the township representatives, I think, have already been meeting with Ben Ramp from RS Fiber, or they have plans to do so.
Could we use that to pay down on our debt?
Well, what would happen if they got that, if they got ARPA funds and they can put up more air towers and gain subscribers, it helps their bottom line and the business model improves and everything.
We pay back sooner.
Yeah. So really what cities can do from that meeting was just encourage subscribership, because the more subscribers they have, the quicker they'll.
Why are we getting HBO and Showtime and all of that? I never subscribed to that.
I think I know, I think it's
Promotional?
just, yeah, I
All right.
read about that too.
Cable Commission report? Nothing. Park Committee? Megan, Julie?
We met with the park consultant on Thursday by Zoom. She was really personable and excited. It was fun. She just was excited about the Winthrop Park and possibilities. I found it really interesting to look at the results. She was very impressed with the return rate we got on the survey that went out. We had 166 replies or something, which she said was far better than a lot of communities
700
get.
households, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really good.
So it was impressive.
Did they talk about the pavilion location at all?
We did direct them, because we just talked about the park. I mean, they put up a diagram of the park and they said, okay, what are things that can be changed? What are things that you want not us to touch and to leave alone? So we kind of identified those areas, and then we did direct them that the pavilion was one of our top priorities in the park, and we want to know where they would suggest putting it based on the demographic that the Lions, what their demographic with mobility and that stuff, where they think. And also looking at unused spaces, how we multi-purpose spaces, and I
Did
don't
they
know.
talk about, like where the baseball field is, possible
Yes.
location? Okay.
Yes, we talked about uses of that and parking, access to the park, bathrooms being more ADA compliant, that kind of stuff. They're gonna come back, I think, with 2 plans to us, and then we'll decide how we move those 2 plans forward.
When
but-
were they gonna be coming back with that?
Within the next 2 weeks,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it was.
So
it was
we can-
We're gonna have for the next council meeting?
Possibly, yeah.
Nice to us.
And it was interesting too. She asked questions like, where's the entrance to your park? Where do most people come in? And I thought, well, I don't know. Depends on where you're going. But if you
Water
really
tower.
think about, but you think
That's
about
gotta
when
be-
people are
that's
coming
gotta
to
be
town,
nice, yeah.
where do you want it to look welcoming? And, where is the Winthrop Park if you direct somebody for an event? So it's interesting to have somebody who didn't grow up here, doesn't live here, look at the park and its amenities. So I'm excited to see what they'll come up with.
And then we told them this is kind of a long-term renovation, not like a new construction. Like, we're not like raising millions of dollars and just gonna rip it up.
Throw it all
and
in.
Yeah, no. So we would directed them to make this as an ongoing plan, and then also to make sure that we're looking at maintenance. Either we want low maintenance things, or we want to have in the contingency plans that we're going back to look at the things that we've done 10, 20, 30. Like, we don't want to just let it fall to the wayside again. We just want to have a continuous improvement plan, so.
Good.
And we want high maintenance, right?
Any other
Correct.
questions?
You
If
gotta
not-
get at that insurance guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's on number 2.
There's no further things on the agenda. I'll entertain motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Julie. Everybody wants to hang out yet, or what?
Megan
Seconded by Megan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
We were 10
I wanted to say, come on, we've
There
been
is.
fun, but
Not
really, I'm ready
bedtime
to go home.
yet. We're gonna fix
Almost.
that. Right.
We made good time.
We did. Sandy, probably not, if not later. Are we recording right now, or is this done?
Yeah, I can stop it. Hold on.